Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. I couldn't wait. I recorded episodes 36 and 37 a few days ago, and I'm like, I can't wait. I need to see Ye City. I've waited so long, so I'm sorry y'all have to wait, but I was like, nope, I've got to watch it now. Because it's episodes 38 and 39, and we're at Ye City, and we're going to go through empathy, and we're going to see the backstory, and I love the actors. I love the actor playing Yang, especially, but I love the actors playing XingChen and Song, too, so I want to see it, and A-Qing, so I'm like, I want to see this backstory in live action. I've been so excited ever since, because around the time I was reading Ye City in the novel, that was over the summer, and I was getting, that was this fall, and it was right after watching it in the Donghua, and I was like, okay, I'm so ready to see it in the live action, and I've waited a long time, and we're finally here, so I want to savor it because it's the third time's a charm. I've seen the Donghua, I've seen the novel, and so now I want to see and listen to the audio drama, and now I want to see it in the Untamed, and I'm so excited. So yeah, I don't know if they're going to do the entire full Ye City thing in 2 episodes. I mean, that's a good hour and a half. It's like a movie. You could do it in a movie length format, sure. So I don't know if they're actually going to do that or what's going to happen. But I poured myself some tea. I'm ready. I'm just excited. So, I'm ready to fangirl with y'all. I love Ye City, and I'm so ready to see it in the Untamed version. Last episode was spooky. It was creepy. The Ye City vibes, despite the censorship, the Ye City creepy vibes were there last episode, and I was living for it. I was like, okay. And Zahn does such a good job. So it's going to be cool seeing Zahn use empathy to get through A-Qing's perspective. I don't know if he'll actually be there or if we'll just see through A-Qing what happens. So regardless, I can't wait. So I'm ready to fangirl with y'all. I hope y'all are too. But let's do this, shall we? Let's dive in. We are going to start episodes 38 of The Untamed. We're going to start that here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. Let's go. I didn't write a lot of notes. They're really sloppy because I was trying to pay, like with the last set of episodes, I was just so focused on paying attention to what was going on. At this point of the series, I know what's going on because I've read this part in the novel and I've seen it in the Donghua. Now, once we get to the burial mounds again and the final temple scene in the Donghua, at that point, I'm not there in the novel yet, and I'm not there in this. So that will be uncharted waters. But Ye City, I'm familiar with. So, holy crap. They rearranged some things in this, and they left some stuff out. If you've not read the novel part of Ye City, if you've just watched the Donghua, and you've not read the novel part of Ye City, you should read the novel part of Ye City, and you should listen to the audio drama. The audio drama chapters for Ye City are amazing. They're so good. And the novel chapters for Ye City are so good. So if you are Donghua only and you've been watching The Untamed, go read the novel chapters. They're so good. And the audio drama is so good for this. But this was really good too. Yang's actor, holy crap. I am fully convinced now that I don't think I could see another actor playing Yang. Zahn playing Wuxian, he's like the only actor I can see playing Wuxian. This actor playing Yang is the only one. He's so damn good. He's so good. Especially once XingChen dies. Get to that. But yeah, so empathy. I'm not sure if the years change. I feel like in the novel it was like 11 years ago and 13 years ago, but they've changed this from 13 to 16 years. So the timeline is a little wonky with the Untamed versus the novel and the Donghua. So, but we get it. We get it. It's in the past. They also change a couple things, like Jing. They call her Jing in this. Like her pupils aren't white. Like in the novel and the Donghua, her pupils are white all the time, and that helps her to convince others that she's blind. But it's just the color of her pupils. In this, she's pretty normal. But her meeting up with XingChen and that whole thing, like the very beginning parts of this and finding Yang on the side of the road and everything, it's all it all mirrors both the other adaptations really well. And man, just by chance in this, Xichen touches the right hand instead of the left hand, and he doesn't realize he doesn't touch the one that has the pinky removed. If he touched the other hand first, we wouldn't have had this problem, but he's actually blind, and so what do you know? But Yang's actor, oh my god, so many good scenes with him. The scene where he tests Jing with the candy and just his expressions and just him looking at her like he doesn't trust her and he's like trying to figure it out, like the way he acts with his eyes. Yang's actor, he acts so much with his eyes. They're so expressive, and the way that his mouth like always kind of curves. Oh my gosh, my heart. I was like, done. So good. So damn good. Yeah. Just that testing scene, and the way that they smile to each other, like Xichen, the way that he smiles, it's so pure and cinnamony, and then the way that Yang smiles, it's so sinister. Their relationship is probably one of my favorite parts about this whole section. Is that Yang he's such just a twisted character, and he's just made himself into this monster by just taking the idea that my life is worth more than theirs, and I was wronged, and now I'm going to pay it back tenfold, you know? But he develops this relationship with Xichen, and they're together for like years. And the scene where, when Song shows up, the scene where they draw straws to see who's going to go get groceries, and Yang draws the straw, and he tries to trick Xichen. But in that moment, they're just, like, Jing's not around, they're just goofing off together. And I honestly think that in the weirdest, most warped and twisted way, Yang had developed this, like, domestic relationship with Xichen, and they'd become friends. And I think that Yang, I really thought Yang was going to kiss him in that one scene where he, like, leans down to, like, listen to him breathing. I almost thought he was going to kiss him, and I'm like, you can't give us a Wanji Wuxian kiss, but you're going to give us a Yang kiss with a corpse? Excuse me? I was about to have a moment being like, hold on, censors. We can kiss corpses, but we can't have two living dudes kiss. What? But no, he didn't. But it seemed like he was about to. It really did. But yeah, in his own twisted way, because in the novel, it's established that, yeah, he used Xichen to kill those bodies, and here they turns into puppets and kills them. But in the novel, it's like he used Xichen to kill those people, but that was like the first couple months, right? And then after that, he stops. And for a while, it's like they have this nice domestic little relationship. It's twisted and weird, but they have it with Jing. And then Song shows up, and it all just goes to hell. And it's like Yang can't be happy, right? It kind of mirrors Wuxian in a way that Yang with Xichen formed this kind of like pseudo-domestic relationship. But just like with Wuxian, it was always kind of, it was just doomed to fail. Like it was like a tiny, delicate house of cards, and then the one push crashes it all down. And it happens with Wuxian and the Winds, and it happens with Yang and XingChen when Song shows up. Oh my gosh. But yeah. But there's always that hint that Yang was still kind of twisted when they go to the market, and the guy tries to haggle him, and Yang's like, you're going to give us all the potatoes. Let it be known that Yang is in Camp Potatoes alongside with Wuxian, not in Camp Radishes like with Jing. Let it be known. But yeah, then Song shows up, and the actor playing Song is so good too. Like all the actors in this, like the Yi City actors, Jing, I felt so bad for her. Her actress was wonderful. She captured that like childlike innocence in this woman, and that was so traumatized, and you felt so bad for her. And then XingChen, he was like such a saintly cinnamon roll, like Ning, and you just felt for him. And then Song shows up, and you can just see, like in that moment he meets Jing, it's like years and years of searching for him, and years of turmoil, and years of doubt and angst, and it's just all in that moment, and his hands shaking because he's so afraid to see XingChen again for the first time because of all that's happened between them. And it's like, oh my gosh, the actors are so good. So good. But yeah, you know what else is really good? The fight between Yang and Song. Yeah. So I just, the relief that Song has when he first finds XingChen and hears from Jing that he's still alive, and then his like anger and fury knowing that he's been with Yang this whole time and Yang's been taking advantage of him. And then just the fight that happens between them is probably one of the best choreographed fights in this series so far. It felt the most natural, and I don't know if it was just the actors. I don't know if Song and Yong's actors are just maybe better at the stunt work or whatever is involved, but it felt so real. And even though there was like the dramatic, like them swooping away and dragging across the ground, it's very theatrical and ballet-like. It's still, the choreography was so good in it, and it was very fluid and just had movement, and it's one of the best choreographed fights in the series so far. I really thought it was well done. I really, really liked it. But yeah, because of censorship, because we can't have nice things, we have to establish that the yin iron makes him into a puppet. And then there's the death. And when they started, first of all, before the whole waking up Wushin and the timeline, everything being jumbled, which it worked out in the end, but when they first were starting to wake Wushin up, I was like, don't stop this now. I was like, we still have so much to go through, and we get it. It's just kind of reorganized. And I guess I see why they did that, especially because Yang dies in this version. Like, it's speculated that he dies in the Donghua, and it's speculated in the novel that he dies. We don't get confirmation yet because I'm not at that point in the novel. But here they flat out, yeah, he's dead. Yeah, Song kills him in this. It's like, okay. But yeah, before that, like when Song gets stabbed and stuff, like the blood spurt on Jing's face. Oh my gosh, like that was gruesome. Gruesome. But yeah, and then Wushin gets woken up. Fine. I was going to be mad if they just cut it off and we didn't get to see Jing-Shen's death and anything, but we eventually get it, so that's good. But man, at this point, Zahn is just tired. Like, he looks exhausted in these episodes. He's just like, this tragedy, I ain't got time for it. Like, he just looks wore out, and it's appropriate, right? But then we get Ning versus Song. They get the nails out. I have to say that I figured Yi City would get concluded in these 2 episodes because it's like an hour and a half. It's plenty of time to do so. I loved in this series the spooky vibe of Yi City. Like they did a really good job of making it seem, because Yi City is a weird arc in this story. If you know the novel, and I've been told that the whole story of Yi City with XingChen and Song and Yang and everything was originally a song that MXTX wrote in high school and was like, there's not enough material here to make its own story, so I'm just going to put it in Modao Zushi. We'll weave it in somehow. And it works. It fits. It does feel like its own little saga. It feels like you kind of just leave the story for a minute and you go hang out in Yi City and then you leave and it's like, okay. But it works. It fits. I think it works because Song and XingChen's relationship and Yang, those 3 characters in many ways mirror Wushin and Wanji in different ways. And the relationship between Song and XingChen mirrors Wushin and Wanji's relationship a lot. And so I think that you can make those parallels thematically and symbolically. And so it ties in fine with the story. And I think that's why it works. Right? But yeah. And then, oh my gosh, Wushin, like the actor, oh my gosh, like just him trying to stall so that Wanji can like attack him. It was great. And then yeah, the masked man, he takes the yin iron. So who I think is Sushi takes the yin iron, but leaves Yang's body this time. I'm like, okay. And then yeah, Yang just gets sacrificed, and they established that the swordsmanship is a mix of the Lan and the Jin clans, which would fit for Sushi. And then Yang tells the story about the cart to XingChen, and we cut back to everything. And it all just comes to head. And then I will say the only part of this entire set of episodes I was like, was when XingChen slits his throat. There's not really a lot of blood. It's just like, and I guess that's for censorship. Because I was like, y'all just saw Song get stabbed and like blood spurted all over Jing, but he apparently lives in the end. But there's that. But then he just goes, Nyeh, and they don't show any blood. But again, it's censorship. I get why they had to do it. I get it. But yeah, and then right before Yang, laments XingChen's death, XingChen is like, but you killed this entire clan because they ran over your finger. Do you think your life's more important than theirs? And Yang's like, I do. And it's like, oh. It's just, oh my gosh. And so that is the other thing too, is that Song stabs Yang and kills him. and then he tries to go for the candy. Like, all the elements of Yi City are there. They're just kind of reorganized. The one thing I am sad about is that Wuxian doesn't get to see the backstory with XingChen's death. He doesn't get to see it. In the other versions, he does. And so that part was curious. He doesn't get to see the whole reasoning behind it. He assumes, I'm sure he puts two and two together what happened, but he doesn't actually get to see that moment, which is interesting. And then, yeah, so they rearrange everything to where XingChen, and they rearrange it. We see XingChen giving him the candy. We see that scene. That part felt a little out of place, too. I felt like they could have put that earlier on, because what I liked about the novel and the audio drama, which is the source material, is that we get to spend in the Yi City chapters enough time where you feel like you really get to see the developing relationship between XingChen and Yang, and the way that they organize it all works very well. And the Donghua did fine with it. It condensed it into like one episode, so it was fine. For what they had to condense, it works. But the audio drama in the novel is just perfect because it's the source material. And this version's fine, but I definitely prefer the source material as far as how they arrange everything. But God, Yang's actor, the scene after XingChen dies and his whole... Now that part, the part after XingChen dies and Yang takes him back and does like this, and just that whole breakdown is exactly how it is in the novel. It's so good. Like him making like the shrine, like he's going to bring him back. In the novel, he's like sitting there eating dinner being like, everything's going to be great. He's going to come back in a couple hours, going to be fine. And then he doesn't. And he has the breakdown. He just wrecks the room and does everything and cries. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. Like that whole sequence. That's exactly how I pictured it in live action. Yeah, his actor was phenomenal. Yang's actor, man, so good. Such an iconic role, and it's so damn good. And so then, yeah, they do change up a little bit. Somehow Song lived. How Song survived the stabbing through the heart, and Ning is still a puppet, I will never know with this series. I'm like, show. What? It's fine. It's just humorous that the censorship is so weird in this show. And I feel like the censorship is not consistent, but it is what it is. I won't complain. If it got us this show, fine. But in the novel, they cremate the rest of Jing's remains, and Song takes them along with the consciousness of XingChen with him. But in here, they actually bury Jing. They bury her because she's literally dead. And I like the poor Jingyi. He's crying. I kind of ship Jingyi and Ling just a little bit because they're such chaotic little gremlins. And I like that in every scene we really see of the two of them, Jingyi and Ling are next to each other. Sishui's off by himself, but Ling and Jingyi are next to each other. It's really cute. But they're all crying and they're all lamenting that she died. And I love when Wuxian and Wanji are like, we gotta go back to the coffin, you guys stay here. And that one boy, the one little disciple's like, understood. It's like, it's so good. But yeah, so Song's alive. He's gonna go off, and I feel like he talks about how he's gonna go off and exercise evil with XingChen along with him. And it's like, that's so sweet. But I felt like the whole time Wanji was looking at Song like he knew what Song was struggling with. Like Song has to suffer and struggle without Wuxian like moving forward without his partner by his side. And I feel like Wanji knows exactly what that's like, because that's what he's been doing the last 16 years. He's been wandering around without Wuxian. And it's like he empathizes so hard with Song that it's really sad. Like Yibo's expressions in these episodes, he conveyed it really well. That kind of like, I get it. I get your pining because I've gone through it too, right? And then they find Mingzhu's body under the coffins. Like, that's a twist. Like, I like the saber spirit. Like, it was kind of CGI there. It was cool. But yeah, they find his body, and then it's like, okay. And the music and everything in that scene was really well done. It was great. But yeah, then we have confirmation of Shishui being Yan when they go and find the toys. And honestly, the show does it in such a clever way, because I've known from watching the Donghua and reading the novel, I know that it's Yan. But if you were watching this series for the first time and this was your introduction to the story and you got to this point, that's the big cue that like, oh, Yan is Shishui. And it's like, It's so well done. I love it. I love that they go find the toys. And then, yeah, Wanji wants the paper lantern with the rabbits. And Wushin's like, do you want that paper lantern? And Wanji's like, yeah. Like, yeah, I do. And so I love that they buy it. And then when they go to meet Xichen, they obviously don't want to carry around this paper lantern. So Wushin's like, here, you take it. You take it back to Gusu. And Sijui's like, why did you all buy this? Where are you putting this? It's great. But yeah, Xichen. Seeing Xichen, I'm getting a taste, I feel, of the heartache that will be Xichen and Yao's falling out. After seeing this scene, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that. Because, yeah, Xichen's actor, he's really like, no, he wouldn't betray us. No. And the look that Wanji gives him is like, yeah, but he did. And I believe Wushin. And we're getting a taste of Wanji being like, I believe Wushin, and Xichen being like, but I believe Yao. And we really only have 10 episodes left. We have 10 episodes left to cover all of this. Oh, okay. Sure thing. We still have to see the key deviation. We still have to track down Mingzhu's head, apparently, and see Yao with his wife. We've still got to do all of that. Oh my god, we've got a lot of ground to cover in 10 episodes. Holy cow. Yeah, we got a lot of ground to cover, which we covered a lot of ground in these episodes for Yi City, but in 10 episodes, we are going to have a lot to deal with. And it's interesting that this series has taken everything chronologically. That's been the one thing. The novel cuts back and forth from past to present a lot. A lot. And the Donghua kind of does back and forth, but it doesn't do it to as great of an extent. And then this series is basically, aside from the giant flashback chunk, it is dealing with everything in a linear fashion. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be neat to see this story from a linear perspective, to see like, okay, what if we had told the story of Modao Zushi chronologically with just all the flashback in one go? And here we are. So that's going to be interesting to see. So like when Baby Ling stabs Wushin, it's going to be like we're going to immediately cut to after that instead of going back into the past. That's going to be interesting. But yeah. Oh my gosh. These next 10 episodes are going to be insane. Insanity. Oh my god. Because yeah, this whole preview is Xichen being like, And then Yao, Jishin's like trying his best to convince them that it couldn't possibly be him. But they're like, no, it is him. We know it's him. Oh my god. Yeah. And then, yeah, so Wanji goes in, and then we had the fight. I'm looking at my notes here. We have Jing Yi having the argument with Ling and bringing up Wushin. They did that, yeah, because at the end of, it's weird, because we're combining different moments together, because at the end of Yi City, Wanji and Wushin got drunk again, and that's when they had the argument and Ning were there. And we're kind of merging that with the thing that happens afterwards where Xichen comes in. So we're kind of merging these elements together, which is neat. But so then Wanji's like, I'll go break up the kids. I'll go break up this argument. And then while he's gone, I wondered if Xichen knew that was Wushin, because, I mean, at this point, come on. Mo Jianyu, Xichen would have known Mo Jianyu, and he's like, Mo Jianyu would not have been this much of a detective. I don't think that's right. But that reveal where Jishin's like, Master Wei, it's like, oh, because here's the thing. In the timeline, I was trying to be like, doesn't Xichen already know that Wushin is in Mo Jianyu's body? Doesn't he already know that? But he didn't, because in the novel, we go through things so differently, and Yi City happens at the beginning of the novel, and by the time we go back to them infiltrating with the paper man, we get them infiltrating Yao's quarters, and then Baby Ling stabs Wushin, and then Wushin is taken back to Gusu, and when he wakes up, that is when Xichen knows that it's him. But in this, we've already got the cat out of the bag that Xichen knows it's Wushin. So, okay, that's gonna make the rest of this interesting. Huh. So yeah, that's really curious. Now I'm really curious to know how in the world we're going to do the events moving forward now that things are getting shuffled around a little bit differently. I'm excited about it because it's going to be different. I'm excited. I want to see it all go down, but it's going to be so curious, y'all. These episodes though, I'm sad Yi City is already over. I'm sad because the tone, we only got like 4 episodes of Yi City. I'm sad it's over, but it was really well done. Yang's actor is chef's kiss, such a performance. And now that we're seeing Xichen angst surface, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for the Xichen Yao angst. I'm not. But we only have 10 episodes left, so you know it's coming. Holy cow. Holy cow. So yeah, that was Yi City. I'm very curious to know your thoughts down below. What you thought of this little mini arc. I liked it a lot, but honestly, from this point on, I'm so excited to see how they're going to tackle this. I can't wait. So yeah. But we got a lot of ground to cover and only 10 episodes left. Holy crap. So yeah. In the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back next week, holy cow, with episodes 40 and 41 of The Untamed. I can't wait. It's going to be a blast, but I'll see you all then. Thanks for fangirling with me, but I'll see you next week. Bye.